Hello, and welcome back to the channel, boys and girls. In this series, we're going to go through the complete build up of the YUJIAOLAND High-Nu conversion or dress-up kit, however you want to end up saying it. Some people end up calling it a conversion kit. I call it a dress-up kit because it's taking the original master grade High-Nu and it just, well, dressing it up. A technical conversion kit is actually where it takes let's say a strike frame and it puts other parts to make it look like a badass Zaku, or it's taking making it look like something other than it was originally. So this is a dress-up kit. We will be adding actually metal details that are not included in this, that I ended up having for quite some time for the master grade, and I just never ended up using it. And they're CJ Hobby metal dress-up parts. I have some for the Sosby, I have some for the High-Nu, I have some for the real grade, and I just haven't ended up using them, and I'm going to try and integrate those into this. But the point in this series, I'm going to break it up into short little segments, or as short as I can. Otherwise, to be fair and to show you guys everything, it'd probably be like a 2-hour video if we went through everything. Some of you guys have caught me in live streams, and I appreciate that, and I decided to make this a little more refined. So we're going to have about 12 parts to this, which should be short and sweet. That way, if you're just looking for certain pieces or certain parts, it's easy to reference to that video. There will be a chapter link or somewhere over on the side showing you all the different steps. There's a lot of things that the instruction manuals, as usual, don't end up showing you or telling you that it ends up using. So this is going to be the generic intro for each of the videos, trying to keep it short and sweet. We're going to go over the tools ended up using, and then we're going to get into the builds. And you can probably hear Tigger in the background mad because I closed the door. He reminds me of that guy from, what was it, Friday After Next? No locked doors! No locked doors! Yes, he's throwing a fit. All right, so we're going to jump down to the table and we're going to start off this series. But before we end up doing that, I have to give a plug to Galactic Toys. Thank you for sponsoring the channel and, supplying a lot of the tools that I've ended up using in the recent videos. And I still have more to review for them. But I want to thank them for supporting the channel a lot. Also, if you're watching this before January 1st, make sure and check down in the bottom. There'll be links to all the tools and stuff that I end up using, and there's a link to and info on how to enter the biggest Gunpla contest this year. And that's where we're giving away a real grade RX-78-2 Unleashed, a master grade, real grade, high grade, and a Hello Kitty RX-78-2. So definitely jump on that while you can before January 1st. Now let's jump down to the table. Boop. All right, here we are down to the table. We're taking a look at the tools that I'm going to use for making this video. Basic tools are going to be, these are the MadWorks sanding sticks. They're just basically glued on sanding paper. And right now I'm rocking 400, 800, and 1000. Not really using the 1000 right now. Part separator, kind of needed. We have a MadWorks flat file, or flat sanding brick, however you end up wanting to word that. I have a rough Tamiya basic file. This is great for getting into those tight spaces and getting down a majority of the pore spouts and flaws, things like that, very quickly. We have a jeweler's file, which is more fine. It's not as fine as this, but it's more fine for getting a smoother detail. This is completely optional. Not everybody is going to be able to find one of these or have one of these. This is a Saburo, I believe, super fine file for getting just a baby smooth finish. These over here are Tamiya plastic files. These I believe you can get over at Galactic Toys, or I ended up getting these from Japan. That was my cheapest bet at the time before I even knew about Galactic Toys. But these work really well also on bigger flat surfaces. I have even wider ones of these, and then I have a round one. You have a hobby knife. You want a nice sharp hobby knife. I have two types of glue here. I have my go-to, my Gorilla Super Glue Gel. I like this because I can just dab it on. It sets instantly and I don't have to worry about it. And then I have, of course, this is from Hobbytown, but this is the generic that you can get at pretty much any hobby store, extra thick, maxi cure. And I like this because it's a little more watery, and if I need to run it down into a space to get that whole tunnel and then get it in there. It gives me a little more working time than with this glue, but it works great. All right, without further ado, let's get into building this guy. All right, the first part of this build, let me explain how I like working on things. And yes, I have everything kind of turned down because, well, it's on white and white is horrible to film on. How I end up working on kits is I have a tendency of I work from the bottom up. For me, that just seems to make more sense. So I am going to start with the feet, and then I will work my way up the legs, the waist, the chest, the arms, and so on. So in this video, we're going to work on the feet. You have all the parts layout here, and then you have a rough, and I use in quotations, rough, how everything goes together. But there are some parts here that they don't end up telling you that you need to keep. And and it's irritating, but that's why I'm here, to be able to show you all the goods and the bads that you need to be able to build. And right here, I'm going to give you a quick look from our lovely third angle right over here. So here is a quick overview of the one that I've already built up. There are some things that I will tell you right now that you're going to need to do. You're going to need to tighten up the little section right here so that it doesn't flop around and it sits in there nicely. You don't have to glue it in place because it is movable if you choose to do so. I will leave that up to your discretion. As you can see, the little toe piece, moves around, but you will want to tighten that down. One of the things that they don't tell you in the instructions is the bottom part of the feet get used, and this little piece right here goes into the heel, and it does kind of flop around. We're going to have to modify this to keep it from flopping around, unless you really don't care. It doesn't really matter, but otherwise you just end up with a hole here in the heel. All right, so what we have here is we have the complete stock foot, we have the stock ankle, we have the resin parts that are going to be used, and then we have the parts that were not used over in this guy. So let's get this guy apart. Now, one of the things that you are going to have to do is pretty much, if you're doing this from a completely, like, it's built up kit, you're going to have to kind of disassemble a majority of the foot to be able to get this out. If you're building it from scratch, then just don't add in this, and you'll add in the aftermarket toe piece right over here. So if you just shove the toe piece forward, use your part separator and just kind of wiggle in there. You don't have to take it completely apart. You just have to pry it apart enough to get that out. And then you're going to push in, and then you're going to push in the new part. And just push that back up. You will need the bottom part of the feet. You're going to put on the top part. And once you're ready for painting and everything, I would probably suggest just a small drop of glue just to hold that down. You can heat it up, but I think glue would probably be your best bet just to lock that down so that over time, whether it's affected by heat or anything, it doesn't end up flanging out. Next up, we're going to slide this piece on. And as you can tell, I've already cleaned up all, majority of the edges. There are a few refinements that I need to do, but we will do that once everything is all washed up. Now, the one piece again that they don't tell you that you're going to need, but you are going to need it, is this guy, and you're going to want to put it in the same way it comes out of here. So we're going to fold that up and push it out, and then the heel, there's a little lip on here, and you want that to face down. So you'll put in the piece, fold it forward, and slide her in. I have not had any issues with the pegs fitting into the holes or anything, so hopefully yours you don't either. Almost everything has fit very well, friction fit. Now this piece right here is going to actually snap on there. The other one I had to use just a drop of glue. This one seems to fit very well just snapped in there, but you may have to use a drop of glue on that. Now, one of the things I was kind of curious about when I ended up building this one was how the back sides end up looking. Like you can see, like there's an offset, and it kind of set off my OCD, but it's supposed to be that way. So these parts do need just a drop of glue to hold them on, whether you're mocking it up or whether you're permanently building it. So as you can see, you know, there's an offset. It sets off of the heel, and there are grooves on here. You're going to see like these, and it looks like it should plug into something. It doesn't. It's just there to brace against this piece. So with that being said, we're just going to add just a small drop on there. That way it can be removed for painting later on. And we're going to hold it for about 10 seconds while that one's being held. We're going to add a drop to this side. And we're going to do the same thing. Now, one of the things that I suggest doing at this point is going to be probably putting in this joint. But one of the things I would probably suggest is maybe reinforcing this. I don't know, because on this ball joint, it is stable. Like there's not an issue with that. I don't know. We're going to have to put all the weight on here and see how it ends up doing. I know this is going to be back heavy, but while you're here, you might as well just clean up any of the little mold lines, things like that, any little nub marks that you have, and just get this all cleaned up. And then I would probably go ahead and slide it into the ankle so that it's all done when you get to working on the legs. And there you have it, boys and girls. The feet are all done up. I would give it plenty of time, especially for these back sections, for the glue to set in, because that's really the only piece that we needed to glue. I would give it 15-20 minutes before you end up doing anything with it. Just set it to the side, let it go. There are refinements that are going to be needed, like we are going to have to touch up some of the panel lines. I'm sure almost everything looked perfect, but there's always that one little bleb that you end up finding in there. But for right now, we're just mocking up. We're getting everything shaped down to size so everything fits well. Then we will break everything down, clean it, and then get it primed. And then once again, go over and look for any flaws that we end up finding. But for the first installment, we are done with this. We're going to set this to the side, and then we're going to work on the next part. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. If you guys want to see the rest of the series, definitely hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm very proud to be able to show this to you guys in detail, go over everything. I just appreciate your guys' support. If you haven't already and you want to become a member, there is a join button down there. There are prizes that will be for 2021 given out to the different levels. There's only 3 levels, some gift cards, and the top tier will end up getting whatever the next year's a perfect grade. Not everyone, there'll be a drawing. Let me make that clear. There'll be a drawing for everyone, and someone will end up getting the new whatever perfect grade is available for next December. But I appreciate your guys' support. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and supporting the channel. Like, it means a lot to me. I'm at 15K, almost 15K, and it means a lot. And you guys pushing me to do these videos instead of just sitting like a hermit in my room with the lights all low. My reason, I'm not gonna share. Yes. So thank you everybody. I hope this was short, sweet, and I hope it helps everybody. Once I'm done with this series, I'm going to do kind of a montage video of everything going together in a short, like, music video, and do that, see how that ends up turning out. I will see you guys all in the next video, which should be a headache because it has the most parts out of everything, and will probably be the longest video. And it's going to be the shins and the thighs. In the instructions, they actually separate the two, but it's just easier if I just show you everything in one video. So I will start working on that right now. Enjoy this now, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace out, YouTube.